Hello and welcome everyone. Dr. Tom here. So excited to have you joining me here for our YouTube live stream and our community gathering. This is really just so exciting for me. Really stoked to be here with you guys and looking forward to hanging out tonight. Looking forward to hearing what's going on with everyone. And just really would love to say thank you for being here. Go ahead and chat in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from, where you're hanging out. And tonight is really going to be about like going over the healing journey that I've had and what I've learned from overcoming chronic illness. And I'm going to dive into that in just a bit. Fear we get on here a minute early and get everything rolling, make sure it's up and running just fine. And it looks like we are live on YouTube, which is amazing. So glad to see everybody here. This is, again, really exciting for me because we have an opportunity to share so many of the things that are going on in my world and how I recovered. And I really hope to inspire you and let you know that there is hope for healing. There is an avenue that you can move forward and really heal yourself. And it can be a rocky road, but there's so many good lessons we can learn. And like I said, I'm just going to start rolling here in a couple minutes. But in the meantime, I want to give people a few minutes to unwind and get ready for this. I love to start on time, but I also want to give everybody a minute or two to get going because I know how sometimes the tech takes a second. Just so a quick overview for tonight, though, we are going to be talking about, I'm going to give you just a quick framework. First of all, I'll start with the story of, my healing journey and what I learned from it. And then I'm going to share a very brief distillation of sort of some of the mindset and the heart set pieces I needed to shift. We're going to just kind of touch on it and see what resonates with you, what you can incorporate into your world. And then outside of that, I'm going to share with you 3 different practices that I utilize in my life on a regular basis to help kind of supercharge my healing, both when I was sick and now that I'm well, that helps me stay well and really connected to myself. So again, thank you so much to everybody for joining us. I see more and more people coming all the time. Feel free to say hi in the chat. I've got about, if I were to turn one of the cameras around, I've got 2 cameras over here. I've got this big DJ thing down here, which I'll show you in a minute, but we're going to have a good time, right? We're going to have some good, just a really fun time. So let's dive right into it. And really, for anyone who doesn't know, really briefly, back in the day, I was, outside playing all the time, living my dream. Like I got a job at the Institute of Ecosystem Studies in Millbrook, New York. And it was really about sharing my love and my passion for the outdoors with the younger generation so that they could get motivated and teach their parents, get them stoked to kind of save the planet, that 7th generation thing. Because not only did I want the planet around for me, but I wanted the planet to be around for my daughter. And, well, at the time I didn't know I was going to have a daughter, but, I was planning on having a family and everything. And I love playing outside with the dogs, hiking and skiing and camping and all that kind of good stuff, riding my mountain bike. And, so I really wanted to save the planet because I loved playing there. And what happened was, one day my boss, Chris, comes up to me and she like shakes me and I kind of wakes me up out of this daze. And she's like, "Tom, what is going on?" And I was like, "I don't know, Chris, like, what do you mean what's going on?" And it turns out that she had a meeting with me about an hour earlier and said, "Look, your work is really, slacking in the last 2 weeks. You're not getting anything done. It's unusual for you." And when she came back, she found me staring at a computer screen with the cursor at the same place. And she had to rouse me from this sort of stupor. And then as I rose, like both of us realized that I had been drooling on myself. And so she's had me go to the doctor. I didn't know anybody local. So I drove back and saw my parents. And by the time 2 days later, I get to see their doctor, I had a rash that covered most of my left arm, my left torso, and down my leg. And really what ended up happening from there is like, I went into the doctor. He's like, "Hey, you've got classic Lyme disease," which in retrospect, I have no idea how he figured out because the rash looked nothing like a classic Lyme rash. But he said, "Look, take 10 days of doxycycline, you'll be good to go." And, I was like laying on the floor, alternating shakes and chills, sweats in the middle of July. for about 4 days. Those 4 days, I was in my early 20s. I needed my parents to carry me to the bathroom. So that was like totally traumatizing. But I got through it. But then over the months and years afterwards, it was like they diagnosed me with, I started having pain and in my joints and my muscles. My brain was foggy. I couldn't think clearly, lots of fatigue. And what ended up happening was I went to doctor after doctor and like, oh, you have major depression like your dad. I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. My body hurts and I can't think. And, I might be a little, bummed out that I don't feel well, and mostly because you can't tell me what's wrong with me. And then they're like, well, you're getting irritable at us. And I'm like, well, no kidding, because you're not helping me. Then they're like, oh, you have type 2 bipolar, just like all the good doctors and lawyers. And I don't know about you, I've never met a good doctor or lawyer who's got like untreated bipolar disorder, So it's like crazy. And then they said I had ADHD, which we all know, and I use it as a superpower. So that wasn't a big deal. But then they were like, oh no, joint pain, brain fog, fatigue, you've got, fibromyalgia, and the guy who told me that, I want to punch him, because basically he said, you have joint pain, brain fog, and fatigue. We have no idea what's wrong with you or how to fix you. So just suffer. So this was about 6 years after the original incident. And so I found myself looking at the wall again. This time, instead of staring at a computer screen, I was staring at a wall, but I was wide awake going, what has become of my life? And I just remember like going, I'm going down this path and I can't stand it. I wake up every day and I'm playing the same script. I'm getting this. And on the other side, I'm like, I have all these dreams and aspirations and passions, and I'm losing all of those. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going for it. And within a couple of days of going for it, just saying, I don't want to wake up that way anymore. That happens whether I try to have it happen or not. So I'm not going to forget about it. I'm just going to think about that. And as soon as I did that, somebody handed me a yoga DVD, and I explored that more. And I found teachers that taught me how to breathe and move my body. And slowly, over 2 years, I was able to loosen up my body, learn to move it, learn some of the practices that we're going to share tonight. And I was just like, wow, I was in 2 years of just doing work myself was about 70% better. Then I met 2 doctors who diagnosed me with Lyme and babesiosis in the chronic form. And then, I was fortunate enough to get treatment for the next 4.5 years. And not only did we have Lyme and Babesia, we had heavy metal toxicity. We got all that taken care of. And at the time we're talking, it's been about 13 years where I've had 0 symptoms that you could attribute to Lyme, Babesia, or the metals. So I know you can get better, even though it took me 6 years to even start making any progress. And then I didn't get medical treatment until 8 years after that original 10 days of doxycycline and all of that suffering. So I know that you can move forward and that you can heal. And it's challenging at times. I've been very super stressful. So the things that I really wanted to share with you, other than my background, is a little bit about a thing I call the Samara method. And this is kind of like I boiled things down into this methodology that just shares the highlights of the way I think about overcoming things. So I've got about 12 slides on this, and most of them just have little notes on them. And then we're going to dive into 3 of the practices that I learned over this 13 plus year healing journey. 12 and a half years of healing, and then this 13 additional years of staying healthy, maintaining my health, and also, diving even deeper into the healing, and even like working with thousands of patients at this point for the last 15 years, solely focusing on recovering from chronic infections. So this is just a part of me. I want to share my heart. And the reason I call it the Samara method is when I was a little kid, I always played the maple leaves that you see there, and you open it up and the seed falls out and then the seed is planted. While I'm playing with that, and I put it on my nose and it sticks on there. Or if you just break them in part and you just throw them up in the air, they whirl like a helicopter. But a Samara is a type of seed that's a seed of new growth. It's a seed of new healing. And that's why we call it this. So anyway, super quickly, I learned a lot about myself on this journey, and that was empowering. So rather than being in that mindset of like, oh my God, I'm sick, nothing can happen, I was like, why am I sick? What's going on? How can I get better when no one else knows what's going on? And in the beginning, it just was a journey of self-discovery, but ultimately it turned into a journey of empowerment. So I always ask myself, like, when I'm not feeling well, what's one area in my life where I feel disconnected from my true purpose? Because if I'm focused on my true purpose here on this planet and I'm stoked about what I'm doing, then that allows me to really just feel motivated. And even when the shit hits the fan, so to speak, and things aren't going my way, I still feel that hope, that I have that passion I'm going towards. So if you're feeling disconnected from your true purpose, you're going to have these opportunities pop up in your life to discover more about yourself and be empowered. The initial discovery might be challenging, but if you ask yourself just that simple question, what's one area in my life where I feel disconnected from my true purpose? You don't have to beat yourself up, but just ask the question, sit with it, allow it to come out, maybe journal on it. But this is just one simple step that I learned. The other thing is I had to learn to accept where I was at with compassion. It wasn't like kicking and screaming. I had to be like, look, I'm here right now. This is a place where I'm not really sure that I love, but it's part of my healing journey. It's part of my self-discovery. And that was so helpful. So one of the questions you could ask yourself is, what would it feel like if you gave yourself permission to be exactly where you were today? So that's it. It doesn't have to be this big crazy thing. All of these little steps I'm going to share with you are things that I want you to be able to come back to this video, take some notes, use the list, use some of these questions to ground you. And then we're going to give you the physical practices that will get you into the state to allow these to get a lot deeper for you. Mindful progress. I mean, this is one that we talk about in the Samara method all the time. Mindful progress really is, hey, I'm aware. Part of what we need to do is become aware of where we're at, but we also have to understand we are making progress, and it just might be a little bit slower than we like. It might not be on our time frame, but also sometimes we miss the smaller steps we're taking because we're looking for a big win. We're looking for this to magically be 50% better, when the reality is we might only be able to make small progress this week. I remember, in the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, he says, one of the 4 agreements is always do your best. And what he states is year to year, month to month, week to week, day to day, and even hour to hour, minute to minute, your best may change. So always show up the best you can. But again, it kind of like going back, like accept with compassion what your best is in the moment, but also become aware of the progress you're making of coming back and focusing on the best you can in that moment, and the progress that you're not beating yourself up. So it's almost like, I always say, it's kind of like if you enjoy red wine or food, if you're a foodie and you put a bite in your mouth and you just savor it, and the first few moments taste one way, but as you leave it in your mouth and you chew it slower and you just sit with it and you close your eyes, you can just feel it all change, right? So that initial impression is one thing. As we sit with it and we're mindful of what we're doing, we see more and more all the time. So one question you could ask yourself is like, what's one step, just one, that I can take today that's going to help me start building that momentum? It's not about doing a ton of things. It's about doing one small thing consistently. This is something I talk about with my patients and with the Samara Method group all the time. It's better to take one small step that takes you a minute or 2 or 3 a day than go do a big meditation retreat, do a breath work retreat, and then come home and never do it. Now, retreats are great, but I want to see consistent action. And one of the ways to be consistent with your action is to pick something small that you can do, and then be mindful of the fact that you're doing it. And your progress is, hey, this week I did it 4 days. Next week, I did it 3 days. The following week, I did it 6 days. And then I did it 5 days. Now I'm doing it 7 days. And now I've got a habit where I'm doing this small thing that's making progress. It's like compound interest. If I had put, $100 a month in the bank starting when I was 21 in an index fund, I'd be like a bazillionaire right now, right? But if you start putting $100 in the bank now, and in 2 weeks you expect it to be, 50 times that size, it's not going to happen. So it's those small intentional steps over time, and being aware that you're doing it, right? And give yourself credit for those successes. The other thing is align with your purpose. Like I was saying earlier, like when you're not aligned with your purpose, it's kind of, you just get distracted and you focus on that negative. We all know from the news, we all know from our own fight or flight mechanism and our desire to stay alive that the negative is so easy to focus on. How was I able to change from what I was getting, which was really pretty damn negative, to what I wanted to get? Even though nothing had changed except what I was thinking, right? I aligned with my purpose and my passion, and I went for it. One of my teachers, Mary Morrissey, who spent a lot of time in a small group mastermind with someone you may know by the name of Wayne Dyer, she has run multiple week-long peace summits on behalf of the Dalai Lama, bringing together world leaders to align with that passion. And one of the things that she taught me was, look, everything that's created is created twice. First, it's created in your heart, aligned with your mind. So it's your thinking and your heart together, alignment with your passion. And secondarily, it's created on the physical plane. So first it's created internally, and then it's created externally. And Mary and Bob Proctor, who's well known for his work in The Secret, they all say similar things. What the outside is a reflection of what's in. You know, James Allen, back in the early 1900s, was talking about, in a book called As a Man Thinketh, he said, look, your environment is but your looking glass. You know what's going on inside because of what's going on outside, and it gives you a reflection. If things are going more your way than not your way, you're probably more aligned with your purpose, more aligned with your passion. And if you're getting different results than you want, somewhere in there, you could realign a little bit. So what is one area of your life where you feel out of alignment? You know, and it doesn't have to be big. I mean, big is good to identify, but big is often hard to change. And what I find is, like, you know, if there's something not going the way I want in my professional life, there's a piece of my personal life that's tied to it. And I could create a smaller habit, say in my personal life, then, you know, that will allow me to make a change over time in my professional life. And I've also seen it the other way. There's these little crappy habits I have at work that negatively impact me, and they bubble over. So pick a place that's easy to access, but where you can see that you could align with your purpose, align with your passion, and just say, hey, what's one area? And be aware of it, you know? And then as you start to work through these practices, one of the most important things for me is to radiate your inner light. Because we're all, you know, the thing is, I always tell people, you can't be a good partner, you can't be a good parent unless you take care of yourself first. A lot of people don't like to hear that because they want to have all this other stuff going on, right? They want to be like, oh, I have to give to other people. But if you give to other people at the expense of yourself, then you're teaching them to receive but not give. And you're also teaching them the bad habit to toast yourself. So if you want to lead your children, you want to lead your partner, you want to change your friend group or your family group and teach them things, you know, one of the things that you could do would be to, it's funny, this thing, sorry, the music started going. One of the things that you could teach people is by leading by example. So if you want your kids to take supplements and eat a certain way and eat a certain way, go to bed at a certain time, maybe you should do that. And you can influence so many people. Plus, when you radiate that light, once you're doing that work inside, sometimes it's hard to keep that momentum going. But when you shine it out, it feels so much better. It opens you up. It opens up your detox pathways in your immune system to share this. This increases heart rate variability, which is one of the most important things for, or indicators of your immune system resilience and your resilience to stress. And so as you share with others, even if it's only in your own family or in a community group, online or in person, you know, that will help. Even if you just go and you're like picking up the groceries and you have a better attitude, you don't, this is not like you got to go crazy and like start, you know, preaching somewhere. It's just go be you and shine your passion, and it will actually supercharge your healing. So what would it look like if you showed up authentically in one area of your life today? If you showed up as your authentic self in one small act, what would that look like for you? You know? And then when you do all of these other 5 steps, you create unstoppable momentum. Now, in my healing journey, this took me nearly 2 years to get to this point. And the first 6 months were miserable, absolutely miserable. I did all this work, but then, I didn't always get the result I wanted. And it was like 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 4 steps forward, 3 steps back. And we kept going. But as I kept showing up for myself and proving to life that I loved myself and I believed I was worthy to heal and I was worthy to make this progress. And I kept showing up doing the small things. I wanted to do the big thing. My yoga practice was supposed to be 90 minutes. I could do it for about 90 seconds. And then I just sat there and tried to breathe for the next 88.5 minutes because that was the practice. It was like torture, but sometimes I got it done. Sometimes I didn't get the full hour-and-a-half of breathing, but I worked towards it. And after I learned to just do it, no matter what the outcome was, and using my body as a gauge, which we'll talk about, I was able to make that unstoppable momentum. And then I had the physical progress, but I had to get over the mindset hurdle of if I do 1 + 1 in exercise, I'm going to get 2 immediately. It's not how it works, especially when you're dealing with chronic Lyme and Babesia. So what's one area in your life where you want unstoppable momentum, right? And then go look at that and connect it to your passion and your purpose. Like, look to see that all of this is in alignment. So go back to alignment with purpose, right? So if you start to look at one area of your life where you want all this momentum and it has nothing to do with the previous things that you thought about or wrote down, maybe start to move it around so that everything gets in more alignment. That's what these questions are really, here to do, is to help stimulate that. So I mentioned a moment ago, one of the most important things to me is heart rate variability, right? Heart rate variability is an indicator of the variability within your heart rate. So we know it can go really high and it can go really low, but naturally at any given one heart rate, it should be changing. And you can measure this with a Fitbit, a Whoop, an Oura Ring, even the new Gem wearable. There's all kinds of ways to measure this, right? But the bottom line is there's a really simple way to improve your heart rate variability. And that involves, and I think HeartMath Institute really did such a great job of getting this concept out there of coherence, right? So aligning yourself with your true purpose. And we can actually put a wearable, even the inner balance device from HeartMath, you can put it on your ear and you can measure in real time that this happens. I've done this so many times. I have multiple of their devices, highly recommend them. But what we do is there's a quick coherence technique to get your mind, your body, and your spirit all in alignment. And then we prove to ourselves through these devices and scientific research that this is actually changing your health. So heart rate variability increasing improves resilience to infection, improves resilience to stress, decreases the likelihood of cancer, and it improves one's overall joy and satisfaction. And we can measure it as, the definitive changes in your immune system just by bumping up this thing. So how do you do it? The first thing you do is you just breathe, right? You're doing it anyway. Become aware. You'll see awareness is such an important piece. Become aware of what's going on in your chest, the rise and fall of your chest. Just breathe in and out of the center of your chest. If you want to think about breathing in and out of your heart, you can do that. And just sit on your bed, lie down on your bed before you go to bed, and just give yourself 3 to 5 minutes. What you'll notice is you don't even have to change your breathing. Just by paying attention to it, it will naturally slow a little bit. Every once in a while, when you first pay attention, it goes a little higher. But if you just stay with it, just the act of just going inhale, exhale, and being aware, you'll improve your heart rate variability. And then after that, after you get comfortable doing that, do something really crazy, is think about someone or something that you love so much. Maybe it's that passion, that alignment, the purpose that we've been talking about. Bring that into your heart. How's it going to feel when you have that unstoppable momentum? And it could be something that you remember from before. It could be something that you remember now or that you want now and you only get a little of, but you want a lot more. Or maybe it's just something you're dreaming of in the future, but you don't have yet. But something that gets you super excited and just fills you with love and that vibration of lightness and openness. And then continue breathing while you're focusing on that in your heart. This is quick coherence. This improves heart rate variability, and it's an immune booster and a stress tolerance booster. And this is the simplest thing to do. And when you go ahead and you do this, what you're going to find is all the other stuff we talked about becomes easier. You're going to sleep better. You're going to wake up with more energy. And again, in the beginning, it's not going to be this panacea and this like everything's perfect, but it's a quick technique that only takes a few minutes once a day. And if you do it along with some of those prompts that we just did, you can then take, hey, what that one area? Oh, I'm really going to, now that I'm in a good zone, I'm going to read what is my purpose and what is that area I'm gaining that momentum in. And it'll get deeper and deeper and programmed into your subconscious mind. So this is one of the quickest and easiest things that I'm aware of for doing this. And I'm just going to move my cursor over here if it all works. And I'm going to go find my little chat. We will, at some point here, I'll be able to get to my chat window. It's not really working all that well. But anyway, I'm going to drop in the chat. You guys can come back and look at this a little bit later because it's not seeming to want me to be able to put anything in there right now. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm going to just drop in here super fast. For anybody who's interested in this Samara method, actually, I got the wrong page for you. I will post that in a moment. But one of the things I want, just in case, it's something that you're want to check out. The other part, what I want to do tonight now for the active portion of this whole program is I'm going to go through 3 practices. The main practice is going to be a Soma breathwork practice. I find that breathwork is so good. It brings you into your body. You can learn how to really just like it's a great way to release trauma. It's a great way to boost your immune system, improve lymphatic drainage, calm the nervous system so you sleep more deeply, and all of those, wonderful things that we all are interested in doing. So it's just one of those pieces that I think is so key. And so then one of the other pieces I love to do is sometimes like I show up, right? And I'm like, man, I'm like so jacked. Like right now, I am just so wound up. I can't even get to the point where I could breathe. And this is how I started yoga. I was just like, oh my God. My nervous system was one of those, like my nervous system shut down is like kind of like everybody else is like on crack, right? I was just it was so overwhelming to me. Everything was just like, so I needed to calm down. And what I found over all of my training and all the work we've done is that a simple shaking practice can make all the difference in the world in calming your nervous system. So I just dropped that in the chat for anybody who might be interested. And then the part about, so what we'll do is I'm going to go through just a smidgen more of conversation, then we're going to jump into it. So in the beginning, a shaking practice is really simple. You stand up, sit down, or lie down, and you just vibrate and move your body, whatever feels right. Sometimes they do it with really fast music. Sometimes they do it with slow music. A lot of times I just wake up and just do it, and I don't use any music. I'm a musician my whole life, love music. I use it because the frequency of music, it helps me go deeper because my mind can focus on the sound and allows me to go deep. For tonight, I have a track that's very chill, nothing really crazy going on. And my thing keeps trying to start over on its own here. It's very interesting. So anyway, we'll do that. And then after we do that part, what we'll do is our main thing will be a Soma breathwork practice. And so what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in rhythm. We're going to breathe with some beats in the background. Again, to get us, it's specifically designed to get you in resonance with your heart and help you get there. We're going to do simple breathing where we breathe in for 4 and we breathe out for 4, right? And that's all there is to it. And it's just a simple count, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. When we breathe in and out in our general life, we prefer to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose so that we're opening up the nose, we're keeping the nasal lymphatics stimulated, we're stimulating the brain. However, in a cleansing practice like this, we're going to breathe in through our nose for 4, and then we're going to breathe out through our mouth with a little bit of a sigh. We call it a sigh of good feeling. So we'll breathe in and then And you don't have to quite make it that loud. I want to make sure you can all hear it though. And we're just going to do that. And, it can be a simple sigh, but like, let all that tension go. Breathing in all the light and the love and the energy, and out, releasing any tensions. And I'll walk you through that. And we're going to do a little thing called an intermittent hypoxemic training, or IHT. Basically, at one point, we're going to say, hey, let's hold our breath a little bit. And we're going to do it on mostly on an exhale. But what it's going to do is allow your nervous system to just learn how to handle just a little micro amount of extra stress and realize it's safe and okay, because safety is the key to healing. Then after that, it's also going to increase your tolerance of carbon dioxide. The higher the carbon dioxide in your blood, at least in what's doable in a natural way, rather than like a lung pathology. But as you train yourself, carbon dioxide in your blood does a couple of things. One, it's a natural anti-anxiety medicine. It's better than Xanax. Then it also allows, when you have better carbon dioxide tolerance, it actually allows you to deliver more oxygen to your cells. So it's almost like an oxymoron. It's like you don't need more oxygen. You need more CO2, carbon dioxide, to be able to deliver that. Carbon dioxide also opens up and does a process we call vasodilation. So it opens up the blood vessels and allows improved circulation. It also will help stimulate increase nitric oxide production, which is an anti-inflammatory, and further vasodilate. So people with Raynaud's syndrome might feel tingling and warmness in their fingers and toes, and it helps with that. But it's going to help you be able to detoxify better and oxygenate your tissues better, you get more toxicity out. And this is all just by slowing your breathing down. Now, when we do a lot of this, I'm always reminded that I need to, remind everybody that what we're doing here is informational and educational only. Obviously, we're not trying to diagnose or treat anything or cure anything. And our time in this workshop should not constitute or medical advice or even establish a doctor-patient relationship between us. So just always talk to your personal healthcare provider before making any changes in your health, lifestyle, or treatment plan. And again, these are things that work for me. I use a lot with my patients, but again, you have to figure out if it works right for you. If we do intermittent hypoxic training and we're doing brief breath holds, and what I tell folks is I usually have people wait about 90 seconds, but most people are going to be breathing before that. I'll walk you through it. The idea is you're your own guide, right? But there's certain times where you don't even want to try it. So if you have severe critical diseases or acute infections, chronic Lyme, chronic Babesia, for most people, they're able to do this. But if it's really bad and you have problems breathing, don't hold your breath, just do the breath work. Because one of the things we find is that if I just go 1, 2, 3, 4 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 out, I'm going to slow down your breathing over your baseline anyway, and it's going to get the same job done. But if you have COPD or, some late stage terminal illness, or you're pregnant, you have epilepsy, an irregular heart rate, speak with your doctor and get permission, pacemakers, things like that. The good news is you can still do the breathwork practice, just don't do the breath holds, because like I said, even just slowing down a little will make a massive difference. And a lot of people I meet can hold their breath for like 4 seconds and then they gotta breathe again. That's totally cool. It's not a competition. It's becoming aware of what's going on inside of you. The other thing is some people could be irritated if they have ringing of their ears. I actually have ringing in this ear because I was sick on it as a plane. I had a sinus infection as I was coming back from a conference. My eardrum nearly burst, but I had all this big, blood vessels burst all over it. And I don't have any problem. But again, some people it could worsen. And if you have hernias, you don't want to be really holding your breath long because you could make it worse. If you do a little bit, it might be okay. But again, just check with your doctor and really use your body as your guide. This is about becoming aware of what you're feeling like. And don't push hard when it feels like you need to breathe, you breathe. When it feels like you can take your time and hold your breath a little. When we're breathing, if we're doing 4 in and 4 out, and you feel that that's too fast or too slow, feel free to just adjust. The idea is to just get in the groove with the background music and really allow yourself to build up tolerance slowly and steadily over time. So that's really, I think, all that was there. But I did get a question from someone in our group earlier today, and I really wanted to just spend a moment on this before we dive in. So what's the difference between breathing in through your nose or through your mouth in these exercises? And that's kind of these general breathing exercises. And the one thing that we really want to do is we really want to stimulate the olfactory nerve, which is a nerve of smell, and the nasal lymphatics come around there. So what's interesting is about 20 or 30% of all brain detoxification happens to your nose. So we want to open it up. So when we're breathing and everything, we breathe in and out of our nose. Maybe we hold our breath a little and then we breathe again. We want to be breathing in and out of our nose at that point. So we're flushing it all around here to open up the nose, and if you can't, for some reason tonight or some other practice day, because you're a stuffy nose, breathe through your mouth. But we want to focus on it because people can't breathe through their nose, generally can't breathe through their nose because they breathe through their mouth. And if you want to breathe through your nose, you practice over time breathing through your nose. There are obviously medical conditions that could get in the way of that. So just be aware. And, whenever you're breathing regularly, we want to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. When we're doing this particular practice tonight, we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. But that's because it's a specific therapy to release any of this pent up stuff. And even some of the Qigong practices I've done for the first several months or longer, you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth during the practice, but in through your nose, out through your nose, other times of the day. But once the practice has cleansed your body more, then they have you breathe in and out of your nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. So it's a great question. I'm glad Kathy posed that for us, but it's just a way to help open up the nose. Again, if it's better to do a breathwork practice than not do a breathwork practice. So if you're in a situation where, you can't do that, that's okay. Right. And so then what we'll do is we'll do a shaking practice. Let me a minute or 2, 3. Then we can sit or lie down and get really comfortable. We're going to do a breathwork session. And it'll be just about 30 minutes for that, a little bit longer. And then afterward, one of the other things that I really love is moving your body. So many of us, when we're sick and we don't feel well, we kind of leave our bodies a bit because our bodies don't feel like a good place. But realistically, our bodies are there for us. And so if we move our bodies, whether we're seated or lying or we're standing up dancing, if we just vibrate and move a little bit, we get to do lymphatic drainage, calm down the nervous system, get out of fight or flight, get out of that freeze state. Freeze is one of the hardest things to get over. And that's when don't feel safe to heal. So we want to movement and things like ecstatic dance, or jamming, you really start to bring your energy back into your body, ground yourself, reconnect with your planet and your community, and it allows you to feel a sense of connection and safety. And that coupled with breath and then simple movements that just clear out the toxins of your body, physical, mental, and emotional, all of this is together. So after the breathwork session, I'm going to stick around and play an ecstatic dance DJ set. So I'll have some music. It'll start slow. It'll build up a little bit. And like I said, you can do it. You can dance all out. You can, the beauty is no one's going to see you doing it because the way we're live streaming. So, feel comfortable, feel safe. And, if you want to lie down, I've done breathwork practices where we're shaking on the ground, just vibing with the music. Enjoy it. Come back to it. And if you like these things, let me know because we can do some more of these. And certainly the more people we share the YouTube video with, it's free. It's out there for everybody. I just think that that's an amazing thing that we can share with others. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll a few things over. And we can get jamming here. I wish I had the camera showing everything that we have here. Millions of different things going on. All right, let's start this off. And you should hear in the background a little bit of music. And I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to move my camera a little bit later. Right now, when I stand up, it'll be a little different. But with a shaking practice, you can do this, like I said, seated or lying. You can do it standing like I am. And really, it's just about, bend the knees a little bit, shake the body, and just start to feel how you want to move the body. And again, if you would like to do this in a seated position, you can do it. And just have fun with it. And like I said, for this introduction, I wanted to do something pretty darn mellow, but just enjoy it. And know that you can go slow, you can go faster, and just allow yourself to play with wherever you feel like is right for you today. And just enjoy. And I'd encourage you to follow along if you feel inclined and you have clearance from your doc, but just enjoy it, you know. And usually I go much faster on these because I like to do this kind of thing. That feels like a good resonance for me. And what's funny or interesting, I guess, as I'm aware, I feel like I'm vibrating much faster than this music. But when I was going slower, I found it was hard for me. And when I went like this, I found a vibrational frequency that just kind of resonated with the sound that I'm hearing. And that's all it is. Take a moment and enjoy the frequency. I'll give you a few more moments to enjoy. Just allowing your nervous system to calm down and enjoy the experience. Getting ready for some breath work and being able to enjoy this evening together. And this is your time to enjoy. And now, I'd like to invite you to find a space, a comfortable position where you're seated or lying, and just kind of settle in as we begin to get ready for our breathwork session. So I invite you now to become aware of your breath. Simply aware the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. And I'd like to welcome you to this Soma breath meditation. This is called the Ancient Valley, and I'm a certified Soma breathwork instructor at level 1, working on level 2, and I'm excited to invite you into this moment where we share space for a creative expansion, for a new golden age of health and healing, and for becoming limitless. So bring your awareness to your breath as you breathe in and out. And with your next breath in, hold for just a moment and release and let go as you allow your eyes to close. With your eyes closed, allowing yourself to become more and more relaxed. And draw your attention to the sound. That's right. Tune into the sound. Any sound that catches your attention. Become fully present with His presence. and notice as you tune into the sound, a voice in your mind that worries about the future, perhaps gets hung up on the past, gently drifts away, fades away. It's simply taken away. All those cares and worries of the world can simply fade away for the moment. And allow yourself to envision your purpose, your passion, your life in the way that you live your best way. In this experience, we're going to open to a new reality, to a limitless world where your creative imagination is allowed to run freely with no limitations and no obstacles in your way. As we get ready, in about 30 seconds and change, we'll begin breathing. Again, in through the nose for 4, out through the nose, out through the mouth for 4. And as you prepare, bring to mind that vision of a future moment where you experience the health, wealth, and prosperity that you desire and you truly deserve. Simply sit into this moment. Feel the music. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Simply breathing in a rhythm and breathing in beats. Enjoy the frequency. Release any tension with every exhalation. Release. Breathing in light and love. Releasing all tension. As you're simply waking up to this new age, the golden age that's filled with abundance of health, wealth, and vitality. Living in harmony with all that is. Thriving together as one. Bringing to mind that vision of your future. Make it real. Make it vivid. Call that vision in right now. And allow the energy and the passion to spread to every cell of your body, bringing with it inspiration, passion, and healing. And how would it feel to be absolutely limitless, to be able to write your own future with the health, wealth, and prosperity that you deserve? What would you see if your mind was completely boundless with no limits? Focus on your breathing. In, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Focus on your breathing. Focus on the frequency and vibration carried by the music and your breath as you harmonize, move into deep coherence. Allow that energy to cleanse your body with each breath in, filling your heart with limitless potential, amplifying your vision, expanding it, make it real. You are truly limitless. And in a few moments, we'll practice our first breath hold. Take a breath in and let it all out when I say. Allow your breath and your body to be your guide. Two, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Hold for just a moment. And exhale with a sigh. As you allow your breath to rest after a full exhalation. As you go deep, holding your breath deep into this moment of still presence, as life is just a series of inhales and exhales. As you press pause on your breath, you press pause on life, just for a moment, allowing that mental clutter to simply fade away. Becoming completely still, one with this moment. And if at any point you feel a need to breathe, take a small sip in and exhale again, allowing yourself to go deeper. And if it feels right in this moment, continue holding your breath, with simple breaths in between as needed. Going deeper and deeper into this moment of inner oneness. Tranquility, peace. And when you feel a big urge to breathe, you can simply take a breath in, hold, and then release. Allow yourself to simply drift, floating in this stillness, allowing your breath to be free, however it would like to be. You can breathe slowly or more quickly, or even play with the energy, holding your breath on an inhale or an exhale. Or perhaps breath comes to a natural stop. Just allow the moment to guide you. Completely still. As your mind easily and effortlessly brings your thoughts into a harmonious alignment with your grand vision, your purpose and passion. Allow yourself to go even deeper into this moment. And in a moment, we'll begin breathing in a rhythm, inhaling for 4 in our nose, exhaling for 4 through our mouth. As we get ready to supercharge your healing. 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing deep. Exhale with a sigh of good feelings. Breathe in the lights. Release. Breathe in a rhythm with the beats. Feeling the resonance with your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude. Release any and all tension as you breathe in the light, the healing frequencies. Exhale, sharing those with every cell of your body. In, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, allow your light to shine for all to see. Moving your body with the beats, moving in a rhythm. Allow the breath and the beats to be your guide. As you breathe in, open to new possibilities. As you become deeply inspired, connect to your higher power. you open to new experiences in this creative playground of your mind. Breathe in your fullest potential and connect to your true self, your higher power, and feel deep into your heart. Allow the sound and the frequency of your breath to resonate deep in your heart, to the very depths of your being. Feel the vibration in your heart. With each breath, allow the vibration to grow. Allow these healing frequencies to move through your body, dislodging and opening any stuck frequencies so that they can complete their journey and become one with the frequency of love and healing within. Feel the coherence of your body, mind, and spirit. You have the simple control of your breath to guide you here whenever you need. And now, take a deep breath in and let it all out. Allow your breath to rest at the end of exhalation as you hold your breath and go deep, deep within. Becoming one with this moment. As you connect to the infinite wisdom of life and the universe. Simply be. And at any point, should you need to breathe, simply take a breath in and out again, allowing yourself to hold your breath again. Push just a hair past your comfort zone and enjoy this moment of healing. This moment with yourself. And whenever the time is right, you can allow your breath to to return to normal in its own way, and just be present with the frequencies within as you connect deeper with your heart. Your purpose, your inner wisdom. As you're simply one with this moment. And feel the deep connection, the grounding, and the rooting into this present moment, into this time and place of healing and inspiration. And in a moment, we'll begin breathing in the rhythm, in those beats, for one last time in this practice. So go deep. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Enjoy the beats, breathing in a rhythm. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Allow the breath to be your guide, allowing yourself to go deeper within, to your creative mind, connecting to the inner wisdom of your heart. Breathe it in, for you are truly amazing. You have everything you need to heal and to create the future you desire. Filling your heart with love. And all you need to do is open your heart and allow it to pour in. Receive. For you are truly worthy. Allow yourself to resonate with the frequency of your breath and music, creating the perfect coherence in your body to heal, to live, to share your joy, give you the courage and the strength to take that next step, that one small step where you say yes to yourself, yes to healing, yes to new opportunities. Open your mind, and most importantly, open your heart. and receive. Dive deep within and prepare to supercharge. For in a few moments, we're going to increase our pace, our rhythm, and change to breathing into and out to. Simply wait for it. You are worthy, and you are here showing that you know this. Out, two, in, two, out, two. Breathing in our faster rhythm. Out, two. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathing in love and light. Breathing in freedom and possibility. You are worth it. You deserve all things that you can dream of. Breathing in our faster rhythm for just a little longer. In, two, out, two. Just a little longer, enjoying the vibration and the energy. Now take a big breath in, hold, and exhale. As you allow your breath to pause at the end of exhalation, going deep within your heart, your mind, completely at one. Connect with your higher power. And realize this is your natural state of being. You are always connected. You simply need to become aware. Feel the energy. Feel the love that you've shared with yourself. The dedication to self and to healing that you've proclaimed by your practice today. And when you get a big urge to take a breath, simply take a breath in. And exhale, allowing yourself to go deeper. And allow your breath to return to normal in its own time. However your breath wants to play in this moment is simply perfect. Allow it to guide you. deeper into this moment of healing. And rest and enjoy. As you connect deeply and permanently, body, mind, and spirit, in total coherence, resonating at the highest vibrational frequency, love. And feel how every cell is vibrating in harmony. And if there's any stuck energy, simply invite it to become one with you. And allow this frequency and this vibration to increase the frequency of your entire being. For when you resonate at the highest vibrational frequency of love, anything and everything you do that's guided by this love will work better, will support your healing and your dreams. For the healing is in the living. So I invite you to take this beautiful frequency with you moving forward and use it to inspire you, to guide your days. And remember, your breath is here to guide you. It is with you every moment of your life. The simple act of awareness of your breathing can bring you back to this divine moment, the ever-present now moment. The simple act of breathing in and out, feeling your chest fill with air and your heart bubble with gratitude will allow you to come back to this moment and allow the thoughts of the day to simply subside. An oasis whenever you need in your everyday life is contained within. And the more you practice, the more it becomes a lifestyle than a practice, where you simply walk. Frequency, vibration, resonance of love, boosting your immune system, decreasing stress, and positively changing those around you as you bring up their vibration as well. So I invite you to practice. Come back to this track as many times as you like. But for now, enjoy the music and allow it to move your body from deep within. Allow your body to be guided by your inner wisdom. Seated or standing, lying or hanging or swinging from a jungle gym, I invite you to explore your body through movement, as humans have done for millennia, allowing the frequency and the vibration to guide you. And if you so feel moved, join our community as we move together. Dance, shift and flow. Whatever moves you, go with it simply and naturally. And know that when a community comes together, even in a virtual event like this, the science is clear. We change and up-level the frequency of love and coherence on the planet, and each person who fully participates sees their level of coherence increase. So I invite you to enjoy. And if you're so moved, dance in whatever way is right for you. And I invite you all to continue with us for the rest of our experiential workshop. I'm going to be quiet for quite a while now and let you dive deep. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you afterwards. And if anyone's interested, the Samara Method group program is listed in the chat. And please share this with someone who you know could enjoy it. Let's get a whole bunch of people to see this and up-level the frequency across the planet as we all heal together. Thank you. like to thank everyone for joining me this evening. We have a couple more songs to move and groove and enjoy the flow of energy through your body. Thank you so much for lots of love and gratitude. And as we begin to wind down with our last several songs, I invite you to allow the energy to sink and settle in your body, taking a moment of gratitude for this amazing practice of healing and exploration that you've partaken in. Enjoy and return to this as often as you like. Thank you again for joining me on this blessed journey. Peace, love, and gratitude. Thank you all for joining me. Lots of love. Until next time.